We have arranged every Tuesday to give religious talk or some sort of series from the very beginning. Because our knowledge about Buddhism is random from here and there. Systematically, people have not learned what this religion is or who the Buddha is. People have all sorts of belief, ideas, imagination. Therefore today I start from the Buddha. I try to introduce who the Buddha is. Then you can understand that you have a lot of imagination about the Buddha. The Buddha is not his name. That is why we say the Buddha. After gaining his enlightenment, he himself used the word, I am the Buddha now. So in English, we say enlightened one. But this word enlightenment also people have not realized very clearly. What is this enlightenment? Long, long ago, when an ordinary man traveling with his old mother by a boat to visit another island, halfway the boat capsized, overturned, and all the passengers were dropped into the sea. And this young man could manage to get hold of his mother and keeping her on the back and started to swim, but cannot see the land. He was swimming this way and this way and this way, cannot see anything. Again turned this way and swimming, cannot see anything. Again started swimming this way and this way, cannot see anything. But he did not give up hope. With great confidence, main idea is to protect or to save the mother. So when he was struggling, he heard a voice. You must swim through this direction. That's all. Then he gained confidence. After swimming for a short distance, he has seen the land. Then could manage to land and saved the mother. So there are two things here. That voice came from a person who was related to him in his previous birth. This is a very good information for you, all of us. So one of his family members, after his death, rebirth has taken place as one of the devas. You know the meaning of deva. Devas have extraordinary mental energy. They can catch, when we think something, before we recite, the mental waves. So, he saw this man is struggling in the sea. Because of his relationship, communication, not breakdown. After our death, element separates. But our relationship, communication, attachment never break. Rebirth take place as humans or animals or devas or in any form. Mental relationships still continue. That is why sometimes they appear in dreams. Why do they appear in dreams? While we are active or daytime, our lines are engaged, cannot dial. While we are sleeping, all our five senses disconnected from the mind. Then the mind is not engaged. At that time they dial. Then communicate, appear in dreams, convey something, give some messages, warning, advices, or asking something, demanding. Many people experience this kind of dreams. It is due to the previous connection. Mental communication is still there. Now when we are going to transfer the merits, we cannot transfer the merits to an unknown person, because we have no mental communication. That person must be either one of our relatives or friends who had some communication with us. Then we can transmit, we can transfer the merits. Because of that mental communication, that person catch. Just like a person who attune the receiving set to catch either medium into a wavelength, short wave or medium waves. Exactly in the same way, the departed person is waiting to catch something. So, since he had connection with this during the previous birth, he directed him to swim in this. This is important news for all of us, not to forget our departed ones from our family. The Buddha says human beings have 10 kinds of duties. Later we can discuss. Among those 10 kinds of duties, to remember the departed one is one of the duties. Not to forget. Do something for them in memory, in honor, out of gratitude. Or if they are in trouble, we can do something. That is how he got this support from the departed relative who was born as a deva. Now after landing, he started to think. Today I could manage to save my mother because of the strong effort that I maintain without giving up hopes. Why not I develop this further and further, not only to save my mother, to save others also. That is the very day when he implanted or created that idea in his mind that one day he wants to become somebody like the Buddha, to help, to support, to save others. That is the beginning. Because of that incident. From that life onwards, life after life, he went on cultivating, developing his mind in order to achieve that aim, not for his own salvation or liberation, for his own benefit, for the sake of the others. That is the aim. There are 10 paramitas, perfections. A person has to practice life after life to gain enlightenment or to become the Buddha. Otherwise, no one can become a Buddha. The Buddhas are very, very rare. Why? Within one world cycle, world cycle means from the beginning and up to the end of this world, one particular world is called world cycle. Within one world cycle, sometimes only one Buddha appeared. Very, very rare. But here, within this world cycle, the Buddha says, we are very fortunate. Human beings who existed within this period are very fortunate because 4 Buddhas already appeared within this world cycle. Kakusanda, Konagama, Kashyapa, Gautama. Gautama is the name of the Buddha. Gautama Buddha. Sakyamuni or Gautama. 4 Buddhas appeared. And there will be another Buddha before the end of this world. End of this world means all these existing planets and galaxies and universes exist, decay and disappear. This earth that we are living, now existing, but going on decaying, after some time disintegrate, dissolve, separate element and energies. Suns and the moons and galaxies also appear, exist and disappear. Anything that which come into existence, decay and disappear. It is not that someone come and destroy this world. Natural occurrence. So before the end of this world, another Buddha will appear. Name is given as Maitreya Buddha. Three religions talk about the future, Buddha or Savior. Hinduism, the 10 incarnations of a God. 9 already appeared. The 9th one, they introduce as the Buddha. They say Buddha is the incarnations of their God. This is their interpretation, not in Buddhism. However, they have given a due place to the Buddha. Last incarnations of their God, the Buddha. And before the end of this world, another incarnation will appear. Name is given as Kalki. And after that, end of the world. Not immediately. Then Christianity. Second coming of Jesus. Jesus will appear again. Only religion, that is Islam. The only last prophet, Muhammad, chosen by the God. All the other prophets who appeared earlier could not fulfill their mission. Finally, God has chosen Muhammad. He will be the last prophet. That is why they are very particular about conversion, to convert into their religion. So they have no another person to appear in time to come. But all the other three religions say there will be another one. So, the wrong conception about the Buddha. If anybody asks a follower of another religion, can you tell me actually who this Buddha is? What is your answer? Can you give the correct answer to introduce the Buddha? Simply you can say historical, yes. More than 2,500 years ago there was a prince who renounced the world, later he became a Buddha, that's all. And some others say, Hindus, the Buddha is the incarnations of God. So every Hindu worship, respect the Buddha because of this. To them, Buddha is a God. Then many others take him as a messenger or prophet, like Jesus. God has sent him to this world to become the Buddha as his messenger. Some others ask, how did he gain enlightenment if there is no divine inspiration? As an ordinary human being, how did he gain enlightenment if there is no divine inspiration? They say they cannot understand that. Then, to understand this, an incident. So one day, when the Buddha was going somewhere, he met a Brahmin. Brahmin means Hindu priest or teacher, masters, gurus, or everything. Brahmin. This Brahmin has never seen another person so serene and beautiful features, complexion. He thought this person cannot be a human being. He approached the Buddha and asked, "May I know whether you are a god?" Then the Buddha said, "No, I am not a god." Then he asked, "Any other form of a supernatural living being?" "No, I am very natural." "Are you an ordinary human being?" The Buddha says, "No." Here you can understand who the Buddha is. He is not a god, he is not an angel, he is not an ordinary human being. Now this Brahmin is confused. He could not understand. Then he asked, "Then who are you?" The Buddha gave the answer. This answer is very important for us to understand who the Buddha is. That is his self-introduction. How he introduced himself. He said, in his own language, spoken language, Pali. Abhinyayang abhinyatang bhave sabbancha bhavitang pahatabbang pahinang me tasma buddhosmi brahma. The meaning. Abhinyayang abhinyatang. I understood everything that which exists in this world. This understanding he did not develop within one lifetime. Life after life he went on developing to gain that understanding. That's why he say, I understood everything. Therefore no one can say, oh, Buddha cannot understand this or that. Then he said, Bhave tabbancha bhavita. I have practiced all the great qualities, virtues, principles, morals, ethics, everything which is good. Now we know how difficult it is for us to observe even 5%. But he could manage to observe all the great virtues, principles, qualities and morals. Also done life after life, developing. In our case, we can understand how difficult it is for us to get rid of one human weakness that we have. Within this lifetime we cannot get rid of it. Let us take jealousy. Can you get rid of your jealousy? It is so difficult. Selfishness. All of us have selfishness. Ignorance. We are ignorant. We know only this much. But he could manage to get rid of all these weaknesses by observing all the great qualities, virtues. Then he developed kindness, compassion, sympathy, harmony, patience, tolerance, understanding, all the great qualities cultivate. Then Pahatabbang pahinanti. I have eradicated or uprooted all the wicked, harmful, immoral, dangerous thoughts, words and actions. That also he has done life after life, developing. So it has taken such a long period for him to fulfill, to complete these three things. Then, when everything is ready, now in his mind, no evil thought, only good thought. No evil deeds, only good deeds. No bad words, only good words. Now he is perfect. Perfect human being. Then, his way of life. He was born in a royal family. That family was not a Buddhist family, there was no Buddhism. They were the followers of Indian tradition, customs, culture, way of life. But not Buddhist. He was given education according to their way of life. He studied all the existing philosophy, psychology, religions, different religions. Up to his age, 29. But he could not satisfy. He could not gain what he wanted by studying all the existing religions, philosophy, psychology in India at that time. That is why he has decided to renounce. Without renunciation, it is difficult to gain enlightenment. Without keeping worldly bondages, worldly attachment, no one can gain enlightenment. That is why he renounced. When he renounced the world, people say, run away, leaving his wife and baby. People say it is cruel for him to run away, leaving them alone here. Recently we had a seminar. Somebody asked this question. Is it not cruelty for him to run away from his family? Then I told him, today 555 million human beings run after him just because of his running away. If he stayed at home without running away, only his wife and child run after him, nobody else. Now you can understand the meaning of that renunciation. So he did not renounce for his own benefit or freedom or happiness or salvation. For the sake of others. Main idea, main purpose of his renunciation to give up the kingdom, worldly pleasure, his wife, his child, not because he could not agree with them. He renounced. When he renounced, he had a very understanding wife. This young lady, when she come to know that he had renounced the world for gaining enlightenment, he said, it is my duty to give my moral support. So she did not criticize or accuse or blame him for running away. When she heard, now he has given up all the government, what you call decorations and ornament. After this renunciation, she also gave up all her jewelries and wearing a piece of cloth, a white piece of cloth, in honor of him. When she heard, now he take only one meal a day, she also followed, took only one meal a day. So she respected him for his renunciation. Then 6 years struggle. After practicing all the religious guidance and advices given by existing religious group, torturing physical body is a common belief in India. The more we torture, burning, cutting, starving, without taking medicine when they are sick, without sleeping, without lying down, they practice all those things as religious practices. This young prince, for 6 years, practiced all these things. But he knew that he won't gain anything by following these religious practices. Then he decided to change his way of life, come to a moderate way of life. When he changed this, and sitting under a banyan tree, he is hungry, but does not know what to eat. A lady called Sujata, very rich lady, she had no children for many years after her marriage. Somebody advised her, you must go to that particular banyan tree and make a vow. There is a God. She did that. 1 year earlier, she got a baby. Now she wants to fulfill the vow by offering something to the Deva of that particular banyan tree. So, she wanted to make milk rice. That it is a custom in India, Sri Lanka, to make milk rice for a happy occasion. She washed the rice by milk, not by water. Cooked the rice with milk. Then asked the servant to go and clean around the tree. When she went there, she saw somebody sitting under the tree. She could not understand who this person is. She came and reported, I think that your God, having heard or smelling that you are preparing a milk rice, has come down from the tree and sitting and waiting. Oh, she was so happy and prepared the milk rice and yes, sitting there. She does not know who this person is and offered the milk rice. After 6 years, this is the first time he had some solid food to eat. Earlier, a bark of the trees or leaves or some fruit in the jungle, that's nothing. The whole body turned into a skeleton. So this is the meal or the food given by a lady before his enlightenment. After taking this milk rice, he got up and he had to cross the river. Those who have visited India can understand Neranjara river, name of the river, Neranjara. He came with his alms bowl. He wanted to test whether he can gain enlightenment or not. What he did, with strong will, aspiration, he threw this alms bowl into the river. He thought, if I can gain enlightenment, this arm ball must go upward. If this goes downward, that means I won't get it. Just to test, he threw this into the water, that arm ball went upward, gained confidence. After taking bath, he crossed the river and the Bodhi tree was nearby. Sat down under the tree. By facing the west, the area that he was seated was started to shake. He got up. He knew this must be the direction. Then sat down facing the north. Again started to shake. Then facing the south. Again started. Then facing the east. Quiet. That is feng shui. You see how he practiced feng shui? Facing the east, now very quiet. Then started to meditate for gaining enlightenment. So it is mentioned that Mara, the evil one, wicked one, anybody who is going to be a perfect person, Mara come and disturb. So, some people say actually it is not a person. Evil forces disturb him, whatever it may be. He had a big battle the whole night. But after midnight, before early morning, he gained enlightenment. Then what is enlightenment? Just now I explained. When a person tries to develop the mind to understand everything, when a person tries to eradicate all the evil thoughts from the mind, when a person tries to cultivate and develop all the great virtues, principles and qualities in the mind, then minds become pure. When it is pure, there is a brightness in the mind. When in our mind, there is no such brightness. Because our minds are deluded, eclipsed, covered by dark clouds of our craving, anger, jealousy, grudge, ill will, ignorance. All these are dark clouds in our mind. So there is no enlightenment in our mind. So meditation means all the evil forces, thoughts, habits that we have developed life after life, we try to uproot, take out from the mind. Meditation is for that purpose. Not so easy, very big task. But we will be able to gain something to calm the mind, to tolerate certain things, not to show our anger, not to be greedy. That is development, slowly. But take time for us to develop. In his case, he had done this life after life, completed. He is a perfect human being. Then after gaining that enlightenment, he was known as the Buddha. Buddha means wisdom, meaning of the word. One who gains supreme wisdom is called the Buddha. Now you can understand the different belief, concept, idea that people have about the Buddha. Why do we worship? respect, do some offering to the Buddha. Not because of fear of the Buddha, not because to gain something from him or asking something. In appreciation of his enlightenment, sacredness and holy, pure life. How he sacrificed his life, even his life, for the sake of the principles. He did not agree to break the principle to protect the life. Why? Life will die, but the principles never die. That can continue. It is mentioned. Even during his previous births, before his gaining enlightenment, he did not utter a lie. He did not tell a lie. That is why the words come out from that mouth more than 2,500 years ago are still very, very effective. When we recite the same word came out from the Buddha's mouth, how many millions or billions of people were benefited to get rid of their sicknesses and worries and fears and troubles and disturbances. That is the power of the Buddha word. But today, we have nearly 6 billion human beings on this earth. Can we find a single human being who never tells a lie? Now you can understand who the Buddha is. After his passing away, when his dead body was carrying out for cremation, thousands of people who have assembled, many of them were not Buddhists, but the Buddha had that reputation all over the country. People say, this is the body of a man who never uttered a lie. That reputation was there. So the power of the Buddha word depends on this, develop life after life, even previous birth also. Occasionally he has violated some of those principles. That is why rebirth has taken place as animals, as peacock, monkey, a squirrel, a fish, elephant. Rebirth has taken place as animal because he has violated some of the precepts. But since he has developed so much of good karma, again returned, gone back to the same human life. Now, animals are regarded as unfortunate living beings, although they get enough food and comfortable life. First thing, they cannot develop their mind to develop sense of reasoning. They have very limited mind for their protection, find out their food, shelter, and little bit of pleasure. They cannot extend their mind further. That is why they are unfortunate. They cannot create any good karma, animals, but they create bad karma. They have anger, jealousy, grudge, greed, ignorance. Therefore, they create bad karma. the karma that in the waiting list, again support them to come back to human life if they have done enough good karma during one of their previous birth. This is the nature of the karma. There are two kinds of karma. Pratisandhi vipaka, pravritti vipaka, two kinds of karmas. Certain karmas that we perform directly support us to have our rebirth, either to become humans or animals or devas or Brahma. That is the only duty of that particular karma. That will be ended from there. And within that life again we have to create another karma. That is what we are doing. Here we are spending good and bad karma that we have done during our previous birth. While spending, we are accumulating fresh, new karma, especially for the next existence. Only human beings can do that. Even devas, brahmas also cannot do that. They never do anything for the next existence. They do not know what to do. They enjoy their life. Animals and other living beings also do not know anything how to prepare. Only human beings. While living here, we are molding our next existence. So it will become fortunate or unfortunate according to our way of life. We cannot change this by praying, worshipping to any god or any Buddha. Others cannot change it. Each and every person individually responsible his or her life. Example. Assume you are very cruel. You know that. By knowing that it is bad, you go and pray to God. I am very cruel. Please take away my cruelty. Do you think God can do that? If not, you come to the Buddha, worship and tell, I am very cruel. I know it is bad. Please take away my cruelty. Do you think Buddha can do that? Impossible. Another person cannot do that. Remember this. But you can do. Through your understanding, thinking, realization, you withdraw that from your mind. Then it works. Another person can do that. That forgiveness of sins committed by people. They say their God can take away your sin. Another person cannot take away the sins committed by us. The Buddha also cannot do that. But we can do. Remember that. Person who has committed the bad karma, the same person can overcome the bad effect. Another person cannot do. Very clearly Buddha has explained this. You know, some religious people come and bluff. Oh, you must believe in God. Although you have committed sin, He will forgive you. After that you can go to heaven. A culprit who have violated peace and happiness of others. At the dying moment, say, I believe in God, please take away all my sin. And God send him to heaven. And all the other victims are still suffering. Where is the God to save them, protect them? Why God wanted to keep quiet when he was violating? Where is the God? What sort of justification is there? The God keep quiet, allow him to commit all the evil, bad, wicked things by disturbing innocent people. At the last moment say, oh, I believe you, please save me, send him to heaven. What sort of justice is there? People are ignorant. They believe this. The Buddha says, if you have committed certain bad deeds, the day when you realize, yes, I have been doing some bad deeds, I know they are bad. Then you decide not to repeat, not to do it again. Right. Now under any circumstances you are not going to commit that bad deed again. First stage. Second stage. From that day onward, you have to do more and more good karma. Go on developing, collecting, accumulating more and more good karma. Third stage. Reduce your hatred, anger, jealousy, ill will from your mind. Then you will be able to overcome the bad effect of the bad karma you have committed earlier. Because of your using your effort, you could manage to overcome. If there is anyone who can forgive our sin, we are the ones who can do that. A God or the Buddha cannot do that. The Buddha has shown the path. Example, Angulimala, murderer, who killed more than 1,000 human beings. He met the Buddha. He tried to catch the Buddha to kill. He wanted to complete 1,000. The Buddha performed a very minor miracle. Because he knew by talking, Buddha cannot control him. What is the miracle? Buddha allowed him to run a long distance to catch him. The Buddha walked in normal way. Angulimala runs and runs, but cannot come nearer to the Buddha. He cannot understand this. Now he cannot run anymore. 4 miles he has run after the Buddha, but he could not catch. Then he shouted. He said, stop. Then the Buddha knew, now I can tame him. Otherwise he was very wild. Then the Buddha said, I have already stopped. You are the one who runs. Then Angulimala said, how can you say that? I saw you are walking. You walk. How can you say you stop? The meaning of my word, I have stopped means I have stopped all the wicked, bad, cruel things. You are running means you are doing all these things. Angulimala understood. Then he asked another question. Why I could not catch you by running after you, although you did not run? The Buddha said, you could not catch me because you run. If you stop your running, you can catch me. Then he fully convinced. Can I follow me? Oh yes. So he followed the Buddha, became a monk, started to meditate and develop his mind, attain arahanthood, attain nirvana. Bad karmas has no chance. How he overcome the bad effect. See, this is the way how to adjust our way of life. Everybody make mistake. By regretting, by repenting, we won't gain anything. Forget all the bad deeds that we have done. Don't recall them into our mind. Do more and more good things and think all the good deeds that we have done. Then we can overcome the bad effect by developing, cultivating our way of life. So this is the nature of the Buddha. So we worship and respect. And people say, the Buddha is dead and gone. Buddha is a man, not a god. Why do you worship him? What do you gain? Have you got the answer? First thing, the Buddha did not die. Physical body decay and die, disappear. Physical body is not the Buddha. The Buddha means enlightenment. That enlightenment never dies. Therefore, no one can say Buddha is dead. We respect the Buddha, not the physical body. One of his disciples every day come and sit down just like him and watching his face. The Buddha, his name was Vakkali. Vakkali, what are you doing here? He said, Reverend Sir, when I look at your features, complexions, body, gives me lot of happiness. Then the Buddha said, his own wording, Kinte Vakkali imina putikayena duggandena sarire. Vakkali, by watching this dirty, filthy, ugly, impermanent physical body, what do you gain? Nothing. See the Buddha's attitude. Then he said, Yo dhammang passati, so mang passati. One who sees the Dhamma taught by me, through this Dharma, you can see the real Buddha. You cannot see the real Buddha through the physical body. But when you study the Dhamma taught by the Buddha, you create the real Buddha in your mind. Through your understanding, you gain confidence and you develop your inspiration. Then you think Buddha is like this. So the Buddha did not ask anybody to come and admire his beauty, come and worship him. No. He said, the disciples who are staying with me by holding my hand or my robe, if their minds are dirty, they are not close to me. But they are going by holding my hand. Some other disciples who have never seen me stay very far away, but their minds are pure. They are close to me, but not these disciples who are holding my hand. So these things enough for you to understand the nature of the Buddha. Then the Buddha is dead and gone. What do you gain by worshipping and praying? The answer is, the Buddha says, no one can give you salvation. You cannot get this from a God, you cannot get this from a Buddha or from another person. Your salvation. Tumhehi kiccang atappang akkhataro tatha. The Buddhas can tell you what to do and what not to do. The Buddha cannot do for you. It is up to you to practice what the Buddha said. Then you find your salvation. Don't expect salvation from the Buddha. Don't expect salvation from a God. No one can give. You have to develop it. Therefore, their allegation is wrong. When they say Buddha is dead and gone, we can say no, Buddha did not die. Then what do you gain by praying and worshipping? From the Buddha. We don't expect anything from the Buddha, but we try to follow his method. Then we gain what we want. This is the nature of the Buddha's teaching. So, see, what is the time now? So better to stop today. You can ask the question. We will continue this. Next Tuesday, I think enough ideas I have given for you to understand actually who the Buddha is. Now next week, I try to explain what is Buddhism. After that, what is Dharma? What is the difference between Buddhism and the Dharma taught by? Why the teachings of the Buddha is called Dharma? Then continue. What is karma? And whether it is true that there will be rebirth. We continue series of talk. They are very important for you to gain clear understanding. When others come and challenge and criticize and condemn, you know how to talk, how to explain to your family members. Because here in this country, Buddhism is in danger. There are so many unhealthy challenges, competition. So we should not keep quiet. You know, we do not adapt any aggressive or violent attitude for anything. But we had to act wisely. 2000 years ago, your forefathers have taken so much of troubles and pains and difficulties to reach India from China those days, to learn this Dharma. Why? They knew in their religion or philosophy something is missing. That is why purposely they went to India. Example. When Confucius was asked whether there will be another life after our death, Confucius says, still we do not know what this life is. How do we know there will be another life? That is their attitude at that time. Another person asked, is there anything that we can do for our departed ones? Then Confucius says, still we have not learned to do something to living one, and you are asking what to do to departed ones. But they found the answer in the teachings of the Buddha. So they accepted Buddhism without any difficulty. After that, combined with the Chinese culture, they did not follow Indian culture, Indian way of life to practice Buddhism in China. They knew it is not necessary for Chinese to become Indians to practice Buddhism. Because all the other existing religions in India, they had to follow Indian way of life, otherwise they cannot practice that religion. The Buddha introduced a universal religion. So Chinese are very wise. They knew how to choose religion. 4 religions were very active at that time in India, but they have chosen only Buddhism and introduced to China. Therefore, it is your bounden duty to maintain and to protect this noble religion, not to give up. because of simple material gains or because of your girlfriend or boyfriend? How can you throw away such a noble religion? Okay, any questions? Can spend few minutes. I know what is your question. I did not mention. According to Mahayana schools of Buddhism, Mahayana divided into so many branches later. They say the Buddha had 3 bodies, kaya. Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya. Kaya means body. Nirmanakaya means the body that he used to behave as a human being, eating, sleeping, talking, walking, one body of the Buddha. And that body disappeared after his passing away. Then Sambhogakaya. He used his way of talking, advising people what to do and what not to do by using his physical body. That physical body also disappeared after his passing away. Then he had another body. Don't think that he is a busybody, although he had 3 bodies. Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya never died. That is why I told you the Buddha never died. The enlightenment is there. In his teaching also he mentioned, it is in Anguttara Nikaya. He says, whether the Buddhas appear in this world or not, Dharma exists forever. That is why they say Dharmakaya never die. Again, after gaining his enlightenment, he said like this, Pāturahosi magadesu pubbe dhammo asuddho samalehi chintito. This dharma that I understood is not a new dharma, new doctrine. This dharma existed long ago, but disappeared from the human mind. But after gaining enlightenment, he realized this dharma again. That is why they say, dharma body of the Buddha never died. Anything else? Coming to 10, isn't it? I think better to stop because doctors advised me to take my injection earlier, every night. So, better to stop here for the sake of my injection. Have some blessing. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanu bhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te. Good health and peace and happiness and long life to all of you. Thank you very much. To see you next Tuesday.